Now, more often than not, many different studios within the film industry, within Hollywood, the Hollywood bubble, right, tend to either embrace a DEI agenda or any kind of ideology, and if they're not doing that, they either have a television program or a movie that traditionally has a very large following, or a fandom, if you will, that disappoints them. This is happening more often than not, and this is a growing issue within the industry, and the biggest example right now has a lot to do with a Minecraft movie. Alright, we all saw what happened with Borderlands not too long ago, right? This may very well dethrone that movie based on what, fans are describing this movie as just on the teaser trailer alone. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So there's been a lot of drama happening with this film. A lot of, drama-driven moments behind closed doors between Jack Black, the Warner Brothers executives, Jason Mamoa, and that's just the beginning of everything here. Everything is beginning to just come into play here. It's the calm before the storm when it comes to a Minecraft movie. But there's a lot of things going on between the executives and Jack Black, like I said. Now, what's interesting about this has a lot to do with Jack Black's situation over at Warner Brothers, as the executives, the CEO, they are currently panicking over a Minecraft movie, which is getting, by the way, a ton of backlash, record-breaking backlash, very similar, if not worse, to what we saw with The Acolyte and Snow White 2025. Let's get into this, shall we? Now, interestingly enough, we know that Jack Black is very much frustrated with the fan base. He even went as far as to blame the fans for why there's such a record-breaking backlash for this film. But let's get into this. Now, on top of everything here, with the Warner Brothers executives and its CEO already in a phase of panic over the record-breaking Minecraft backlash for multiple reasons, one monumental development going on right now has more to do with Jack Black's behavior and his aggressive response and reaction toward the Minecraft backlash over at Warner Brothers behind the scenes, and how he made a very quick decision, or they made a very quick decision, for this movie in particular, this brand. A crucial update to this situation now involves how Warner Brothers, surprisingly, not so shockingly, had a Minecraft sequel that was already in the cards and lined up for Jack Black that was going to pay him an estimated, get this, $26 million, with negotiations that were in place to make that payout even higher based on the success of the first film. It turns out Jack Black was furious behind the scenes after Warner Brothers held a recent emergency meeting to cancel this project altogether, for which is resulting in a $25 million loss for Jack Black. Now, the sequel film was planned to focus on a full-fledged backstory of Steve that was going to divert from source material to a certain extent. The sequel was going to also focus on the origin of Steve and some new cameos to be inserted into the film that are now no longer moving ahead. Now, Jack Black is already in an endless stream of arguments with the Warner Brothers executives, furious over canceling all of their plans for a Minecraft sequel just before they were about to announce it by this holiday season. Now, the main reason why they greenlit a sequel behind the scenes to begin with was that Warner Brothers was so overconfident with their film that they felt a sequel would garner billions of dollars regardless of how they presented this film. As long as they used the Minecraft title, they felt it would be a smash hit. And this all backfired after the recent trailer. Now, of course, that backlash that turned away so many fans, Jack Black is also, of course, in a situation now where he lost out as well on a $3 million side deal with Warner Brothers, where he had, of course, written songs for Minecraft that were going to be played on live television and to a live audience for specific events. This was all going to be done as part of the marketing campaign. This deal, however, also involved exclusive interviews that Jack was going to participate in that have now been canceled as well in light of the ongoing drama. Now, guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about this. We know that there's been a lot of drama connected to this movie. Jack Black had a lot of problems with the backlash, had a lot of problems with the decisions that were made very quickly by Warner Brothers. You would think a proper response would to act like Paramount. Let's pause this movie, let's delay it, let's do something about the character of Steve at the bare minimum, maybe do some reshoots with Jason Mamoa and change the design of his character because of how strange he looks in this movie. I don't know. They could have done something as simple as that. Delayed it by 6 months, 8 months if they really had to. And then you might very well make all your money back based on, making all those different alterations and revisions. So we saw this happen with Paramount. They did that. They delayed their Sonic film. There's no reason to say that Warner Brothers can't do the same. But this is where things begin to pick up and get even more interesting. So the backlash for this film is so strong that Warner Brothers is already in the process of doing something similar to the Disney company by canceling, get this, certain but not all of merchandise related to the human form of Steve as Jack Black, of course, by design, as opposed to his regular animated version from the game. Black was going to get a substantial cut from the sales of the merchandise based on his image, but that has now been drastically reduced, and Jack is fuming behind the scenes after a recent gathering took place between the writers, the director, and the rest of the creatives of the film, that Warner Brothers is now talking about a potential delay from April of next year until June. But no changes to the actual film. Jack Black already is putting full blame on the marketing team for a Minecraft movie, a very similar behavior to some actors and actresses associated with the Walt Disney Company when their films and or TV shows backfire with doomed trailers. We saw this with Snow White, and we saw this with The Acolyte, and we're seeing it again with the Minecraft movie. Very, very similar situation, and it seems like a repeat. Does it not seem like a repeat? A lot of these studios are acting in the same way with their talents, with their actors and actresses, and those that were involved in their films and television programs. It's a vicious cycle within the Hollywood bubble right now, and I think that this era is going to eventually come to a close if they keep doing this over and over, because if you just keep embracing this overall idea, you're going to go bankrupt. These studios just can't keep doing stuff like this. They have to understand their audience, they have to understand their brands and or properties that they have. One of the biggest ones of all time is Minecraft, the best, selling video game out there. Very widely popular, and we know that this movie, in specific, of course, is the fact that they really poured a large budget into this film. That's another big deal. That's another deal breaker for Warner Brothers, is that they invested so much money into this thing. They paid Jack Black a ton of money as well. That really is going to set themselves up for failure if they make no major changes to this movie. If I were them, like I said earlier, they should invest some money into this film, make some changes, even if it's something as simple as changing Jack Black's design. You could do rotoscoping, you could do CGI, whatever you gotta do, change the appearance of Steve, and I think, maybe and only maybe, you might make a success. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, Jack Black is not happy at all about this scenario. He's very much angry about what's been going on with Warner Brothers, what's been going on with the marketing team of this movie, and it's not helping when you have Jack Black, who's blaming things on men in their 20s, 40s, and 50s, giving this film flack, when a lot of those, especially men in their 20s and early 30s, grew up playing this actual game. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.